So, Megan, there's a really incredible dramatic opening sequence that leads to this warhorse being transported into Centaurworld. How'd you come up with that sequence? Because it's so incredible, so action packed, and like I really enjoy the show, but I kind of want to watch that show too.
Right. Um, I think from the beginning, I always wanted it to feel genuinely like we had a character from one show that was dropped into the other. So we wanted it to feel as authentic as possible. And we worked with two different studios to make both, like the two different styles of the show. And so we worked with Red Dog Culture House, who is a studio in Korea that has, where their artists and animators have worked on a lot of action shows before this. And so we worked with them on that sequence and a lot of the other sequences that came from Horses Worlds for that. And then we worked with Mercury Filmworks for all the squashy, stretchy Centaurworld stuff. But I'm really glad to hear that it felt like it, like you would have wanted to watch that show, because we wanted to invest enough into it to feel like it was its own thing.
Yeah, it definitely does. And I was looking into, you have this great book of sketches available, and you're able to create these cute, kind of creepy animal designs, and we see plenty of them here. When did you discover that you had this knack, or maybe it's a curse, I don't know, to come up with these designs?
Um, it might be a curse. I mean, I love, I'm fascinated by biology. I love animals because the natural world is so strange. And if you look at, like all the actual animals that exist in our world, they are really bizarre. And I've always enjoyed just sort of I guess artistically just kind of taking what's already there and pushing it, or pushing it to places that's sometimes visually uncomfortable. That's something that's always kind of made me laugh, and that was definitely something that I wanted to incorporate into the show, or draw some of the humor from.
I love that core bond between the horse and rider, and it's on this quest to be reunited. How do you come up with this idea? And like, are you a big horse equestrian like fan yourself? How'd that come about?
I love animals. I'm not actually a horse girl. Like I didn't grow up riding horses. I enjoy them as animals. But I really but that bond between human and animal was one thing that I wanted to explore. And I did want our main character to be an animal, and and a war horse felt like the perfect, the perfect character for this particular tale.
Music is such a large part of this series. What led to you going in that direction? And did you work on crafting the songs yourself?
Yeah, I love musical theater, and to the whole inspiration for the show came from me, like being really focused on studies, and then accidentally getting put in a show choir, just like a scheduling kind of, but by a scheduling mix up, like I just ended up in a show choir my freshman year of high school, and I felt really out of place, but it kind of like led me to pursuing the arts. Like it was the thing that kind of made me realize like I had to do something creative for a job. And yeah, so music is really important to me. And yeah, I wrote a lot of the songs, and my co-ep Dominic Pisignano wrote a lot of the other ones. So we were in the writer's room through the whole process, and we were also writing the songs. And then our composer Toby Chu helped produce them. And so it was a really collaborative experience, working on it, working on the music, but also like I think us being so intimately familiar with the characters, with the story, like working on the visuals, also helped us work on the music. I think we just felt like really connected to these characters, and I always knew that I wanted the music to help tell the story, and for the songs to not just be like songs that were happening, but for them to be narrative and character based.
You have such a talented voice cast in the show, and Josh really stands out as the very wacky Durpleton. How fun
Yeah.
was it just putting him in such a like the silliest role possible?
Josh was great to work with, and I think that character, in particular, Durpleton, it's almost a tricky one to it was a tricky one to cast, because I think a lot of it would be very easy to play him and to kind of make fun of who he is, because he's not the brightest character of the bunch, but he has a lot of emotional intelligence despite, despite not being the smartest centaur there. And I think Josh naturally picked up on that. He played the character with, a lot of sincerity. And I think that's what I loved about his performance. He like made that character really, really lovable, and like had so much genuine affection for who that character was.
And then Kimiko's so great in the lead role as Horse and really nails the musical performances. Can you speak about just working with her?
Yeah, Kimiko was excellent. I mean, she's such an amazing singer, but also she's super funny. And I think that the character of Horse was always tricky because we didn't want her to feel like just the straight man in this world of all these, these silly and absurd characters. We wanted her to be able to hold her own, and Kimiko brought so many surprises to her performance. Brought a lot of surprises to us, and really helped inform who this character was, and how silly she could be. And I think in particular, I love the amount of mischief she brought to the role, and how much she really played up, like how excited Horse would get about war-related things or fighting, and I think she really she did an amazing job.
You recently shared like sketches of like the original drawings for these characters. How rewarding is it getting to see this idea fully go from concept? It's all animated. It sounds great. Like, just how rewarding is that as a creator?
I can't even put it into words. I started drawing some of these characters like 5 or 6 years ago, and so seeing them now, moving and with the voice cast that we have is really it's really surreal. So like I'm just so happy that it's like it's finally here.
In Japan, there's a very popular genre, isekai, which is super popular in anime and light novels. People going into another world. Did that serve as any inspiration for this idea?
I mean, I think a lot of I know that there's a lot of different shows right now that are exploring that, and I think a lot of the creators are were like from the same general age, and I think a lot of us had watched things like Spirited Away and like Miyazaki movies in particular that I think baked somewhere into our brains. But I think like I think there's just a like it's so fun to be able to create a world from scratch that a character can go into. So I don't know. So I think that's probably why there's so many different people exploring that concept.
And then my last question here, the floor is yours. Why should people check out Centaurworld?
I'm sorry, why should they check it out?
Yeah.
I mean, I think that the show is something that's pretty unique. I mean, like it's a very difficult show to describe, but I think that we put so much into it, and it's so many different elements into it, and I think that there's going to be something that will surprise everyone from the show, and I think that like the messages that we put in there are hopefully ones that will be that will speak to a lot of different people of different age groups too. But I think they should check out the show just to be surprised. Also, like for the music, for the visuals, and for the performances that are the performances our actors gave, and all of the amazing visual work that our crew put into it.
Great. Thank you so much for your time today, Megan.
Yeah, thank you.